Welcome back to the channel. Kimio Space Cadets is the leader of the Cosmic Armada and librarian of KO.DE Archives, back to bring you another weekly review. The episode this week was a thriller. Ordeal has episodes where we can focus on Brent's action, but Ordeal truly shines in moments in between. In this episode, there was a ton of politics that truly reinforced the world we already knew. Without further ado, let's talk about the title of Season 3, Episode 128, titled Declaration of War. The title at face value could lead you to assume that this declaration of war is for Thanatos and his army. Let's change our perspective to that of Shay himself, and how politics have affected him throughout the story. In Season 1, we have the Kimio ban, where all Kimio after the death of Leo Thomas was locked up if caught using their talent, whether for good or evil. In this case, Inspector Ian at the time, who, with our current perspective, had a lot more pull on the ground unit of the KCGs, he would know about the Elio Sun talent being a super soldier in the PATMOS guard. Now, with the assistance that the Wolf Cubs, specifically Shay, given Ian during Season 1, he would know that his strength would be necessary for the larger upcoming war. He is then not only informed about the gods here and their stations, but also the conflict involving an underlying threat across the entire world. He is tasked with protecting the Prime Minister of Greenland. After succeeding in protecting him, Shay was informed that the minister had valuable information that could lead to the end of the world. As a god tier uses his political power in code to allow Shay to train under him, since god tiers are not allowed to have students. Even with this training, he fails to stop Vaal from getting the boxes of life and death, and it ended with the death of his master. At the same time, his home is attacked without him being there to protect it due to him being called over to Greenland. He understands that KODE isn't an organization that provides all the information, so his trust in the system further declines as he gains further power, more than he ever thought he could obtain, as he is given a divine purpose on top of the weight that it carries. As he bears the cross, he still does not understand the true weight of that cross. So as Shay walks in faith, he declares war on not only Thanatos, the new enemy he has sworn to stop, but to all those people would also stand in the way of his divine calling, being Thanatos or KODE alike. Now, with the title dissected, let's recap the events of Season 3, Episode 128. As the heat of the sun rips through the moon and the very oxygen used for the cold scientists seeps out into the vacuum of space, we peer down onto the youth and elders alike being exposed to the weight of Shay's chi, as they seem to be affected down to their very soul. As the very species of Kimio stops for a moment, the moon, sliced and perfectly, hovers over the flames, encapsulating the city of Shinjuku. Peering to the heart of this destruction lies one Kimio. In a crater devoid of life stands the Rod of Man, Shay Hart, at 3:45 p.m. Gripping a piece of a building, disregarding his destruction, he moves it aside without any effort as he stands before his prize, kneeling and absorbing Venter in hopes of not damaging his master's keepsake while disregarding his imprisoned Kimio. Late, peering out into the destruction caused by Shay, Dave states, "Did you think the city-wide evacuation was a success prior to our little engagement? You killed civilians, Mr. Hart. The captain underestimated you. That's on him. But as you sliced him in two with your flames, how many casualties do you presume were sustained in the neighboring areas? Putting more care into the tools needed for his destiny than the frantic philosophy of a Thanatos soldier, Shay sheaths Venter as they continue. You and I are the same. The only difference is you paint your face, Shay Hart." Annoyed by another Kimio who preaches to him, he only hyperfixates on the Elder Mantle as Lord Mahalel breaks that focus, saying, "Spare him, Shay. Let the army recover him. He has no fight left." Taking the mantle to ensure that it is not destroyed by the raging flames of Ilios, Shay simply remarks, "No," calmly readying a Tomos in order to end Leif's life. As the crater explodes ferociously, Shay is found wrapping the Elder Mantle around his waist, concealing the putrid key he has gained access to. Having front row seats to the destruction of Shibuya, Andrea finally finds Shay remarking, "Thank goodness." Hugging the man she has come to love over a lifetime, she is immediately brought back to reality as she accesses the destruction of her home, while Shay focuses on her pain as she states, "The nuclear vials, they're destroyed. The waste will remain and cause Shinjuku to be uninhabitable by humans." Continue with, "Are you alright, Shay? What was that?" As Shay responds calmly, as if knowing the destruction it would take to stop Thanatos, calmly stating, "A declaration of war." Andrea expresses herself with, "This isn't good. What was that chi coming from you? I've never felt anything like it, and if I felt it strongly, everyone did. It was like an old enemy who I feel I should know. You need to lay low, Shay. The god tier have an oath they will not understand." Interrupting her sentiments is an explosion caused by the warp of his auntie Nico Hart, as Andrea is stunned and can only utter the words, "No." As Nico dons not the concern of a loved one, nor the responsibility of a seven-headed lion member, but only comes bearing the rage and obligation of the god tier. As the faction states, "Lower Hart, by command of the 10, you are reordered to stand down and surrender surrender your arms. This is an order without question. You are detained. Closely analyzing his sworn enemy is the new appointed First Lord, being overcome by his talent Okinos, Vatic Aldemar, stating, I should have seen it when we first met, but I do now. You do not just possess my wicked brother's body, but his chi as well, the chi of Thanatos. As Third Lord Kofi Khan anger is starting to heat up, stating, there are casualties on the moon base. You destroyed the city. Was it you or the mind of Thanatos within you? Answer me, Heart. As Fourth Lord Abijah, noticeably not only saddened but disappointed in their former allies, stating, we've been searching for and fighting this exact chi, some of us for our entire lives, and then you suddenly reveal it within you, Lord Heart. You have renounced our trust as the god tier that embodies Leo teachings the most. Fifth Lord Minamoto no Usamu states, slow down everyone. We were all aware he was in possession of Thanatos' body, but the chi may have been dormant. Continuing with, I refuse to believe that he himself is the reincarnation of our enemy. Completely disregarding Shay's opinion but not his existence, the god tier continued with their one-sided meeting, with 6th Lord Colonel Bree Williams stating, have you not read of his birth, Minamoto? He has always been him. Having a front row seat to Shay's carnage, angered and stricken by grief over the very country he is stationed to defend, 7th Lord Reed Haven readies himself for an attack while stating, he's even hiding it now. I can't even sense any of it. Frantically stating, are you even who you say you are? I would take no chances with chi like that. As the 8th Lord Mikael Oliveira soundly observes the rod of men first of many coming atrocities. As the 9th Lord Zuri, so far removed from the means of modern pleasantries, coldly states the facts, saying, Lord Haven is right. We know Thanatos has returned but cannot locate him. And then Lord Heart does this. Anything that risks the lives of my people will not be permitted to live. Do you understand that? As the newly appointed god tier, 10th Lord Tao Huang, bearing the weight of the destruction behind him and in the potential enemy in front of him, says, please forgive us, Lord Heart. There are too many questions, yet the major issue remains. The lords are sworn by an oath to lay down their lives to protect against one threat, and everything points to you being that threat, my lord. Please surrender until further notice. Completely disregarding the very obligation holding the 10 strongest Kimio in the world together, pleading for them with her entire being, Andrea says, have you all gone mad? You cannot find Thanatos, so you lock away your own comrade? Continue with, he's bled for us. Saddened by the fact that her nephew could be the very enemy she sworn to slay, 6th head of the lion, Nico Hart states, you do not understand, Lady Thomas. The lords are bound by their oath, furthering her previous statement with, they will risk everything to defeat Thanatos. Every order, every plan, and every life comes second to stopping him. They are sworn to protect the world from one person, and they cannot make sense of the fact that Lord Heart not only has his body but now his chi. Moving at top speed as he sensed his brother usual chi disappear in the same spot as this future one appeared, Anton arrives, prepared to bear his fangs and sacrifice for his brother against the very allies he has agreed to protect. Further adding fuel to the fire that is Kofi's grave, with Kofi stating, Anton King, move. You unrisingly standing in the god tier's way. Kong appears both are visibly saddened by not only the carnage that Shay has brought, but the states of the events as well. Anton states, I know. Minamoto, completely composed, wisely states, seems today is your first day as the new 7th head of KODE, and you start by opposing the god tier. Wishes for some that has been a death sentence. Others may call you foolish, but I know what the calling talent can do. You'll kill at least one of us before you fail. Further disclaimer, as I said, comrades, we must stand down. There is no need for such bloodshed this day. We must avoid fighting at all costs. Arriving in an instant, the man who stands right outside of the rank of potential god tier arrives the right fang of KODE, Jin Grimbor, stating, and by that you are correct, my lord, as both Bree and Minamoto is astonished by the turn of events, stating, you, as Jin readies his blade in defense of his table leader, preparing to go against the very god tier themselves, stating, this is a matter of the first table and it does not concern the lord, so indeed, we must avoid fighting at all costs. As the foundation of KODE believes the 5 pillars stand before the god tier, although reluctant, is still prepared to defend Shay from the unjust assumptions of selected god tiers. Caught by complete surprise at the agreement of Jin with the protection of Shay's actions and the analysis of the comments there, Reed says, we have not fought for some time and men have forgotten what we are capable of. Even the first table opposes us. This is going too far. We should indeed stand down, lest many of us die today. Grimboy isn't called the White Fang for nothing. Continuing with this, there is no need to spill blood. Once Lord Heart complies, we have people to protect. As Reed ends with, but I must ask, why the change of heart? Do you side with him now, Grimboy Jin? Focusing on how he has wronged Shay during their meeting with his remarks of his clan, Grimboy without hesitation states, Lord Heart, my apologies. For our initial interaction, I was consumed by thoughts of the people I need to keep alive. I thought we did not share the same resolve. As he completely understands the message Shay has sent Jin states, but I understand it now. You will lay down your life as I will, and you will be our hope of stopping what is to come, even if it means using the very chi of our enemy. As the information Shay has requested for months is provided to him in an instant. As Jin states, I have been on the front line longer than most, and I know the cost of victory. I stand at your side, but I also come bearing bad news. Prep to stab Thanatos. Even Shay was taken back by Jin's next statement, stating, former Minister Gary Choi has been proven innocent. There has been a cabal in your country, my lord. As we see a broken man drowning in his own sorrows, as Jin continues with how he has gotten the information, stating, Richard Dovertil broke his alliance as he provided us with the evidence that fully exonerated a Choi. Several political leaders were threatened to keep silent. Richard told KO.D.E there was no one in his government he could trust. Continuing stating, he placed his wife, Minister Barbara Dovertil, to our protection custody while he gathered concrete evidence. He was under surveillance. They found his body this morning. It seems a Titan killed him. As this information leaves both Shay and the Dread hanging on Jin's every word as he continues. That letter has the names of vile individuals who belong to an underground consortium that holds Trinidad and Tobago's power. I think you should read it, exclaiming furthermore, a Choi has been held at PATMOS per request since it's cut off from the outside world. He will not be able to fight his accusers. I'm on my way there now to have him released. That letter also has a copy of his exoneration. This new information has seemed to quell a bit of the rage that Shay has harbored over the time sphere, but completely understanding the hand that Mr. Choi has been dealt, Shay states, I will go. He's my people, and if I were him, I have no trust in outsiders. As Shay stares at the god tail while making a statement about trust, Jin observes Shay closely while saying, very well then. Sir Eric will provide you with Patmos' current location, as it is still highly classified. You'll go alone. I'll take it, you will fly there. Those in the area will be informed of your imminent arrival. As for us, what are your orders, Lord Hart? Further saying, you still sit at the head of our table. Where you send us, we will go. There's only one thing that matters to Shay, as the load that was previously lauding is increased by tenfold as Shay states, find him. Thanatos' hiding is no mere coincidence. He is planning something. He must not put any pieces together. As Kofi anger comes to a boil while radiating chi, angrily stating, enough. You still haven't dealt with us. The chi coming from you may be more dangerous than you understand. I will not let you leave. Continuing showing his disappointment, Eric Edward, rank 41, stating, calm down, Lord Akon. You're getting too hot. His body must be studied, yes, but members of the first table possess diplomatic immunity. As he stresses the situation they are in by saying, you will be breaking every rule of code to detain him. I will not allow that. You will let him be. Isn't maintaining order among our kind top priority? As Bree Williams attempts to prevent further obstruction, she states, our oath supersedes all, Eric. Further exclaiming, personally, I have nothing against the young man. Leo earned our utmost respect, therefore I will ensure he is treated fairly. As Uni Taylor's rank 28 states, we know of your oath, my lord, but we are telling you, you will let him leave. As she expresses her unbending will, she states, consider us a union, if you will. We can sit and speak about this newly developed situation amongst ourselves afterwards. He, however, will be excused from conversation. This is non-negotiable, my lord. As Zuri expresses her disappointment, she says, Anton King going against code for your tribe, are we? Your movements have not been tied to the seven heads. You seem independent. As Anton understands the severity of the situation, but disregards those he has not known his entire life, stating, it was my only condition to joining the seven-headed lion, my lord. Full liberty around any matter concerning my pack. Trying to make sense of why Thanatos' chi is not able to be felt by the god tail, Tao Hung states, I knew I recognized that around Lord Hart's waist is a talent item known as the Elder's Mantle. As he continues, he says, this is the reason we cannot sense his chi anymore. If he leaves, we may not be able to find him again, as his ideals is crushed under the weight of the other's pride, but their responsibility as well. Minamoto says, we have spoken enough. Time is no longer free to squander. It is decided we will take Lord Hart by force, refusing to bow before these mortal men, no matter how powerful. Shay begins to emanate chi akin to Elil State 2. Seeing diplomacy is almost eliminated as an option, Mikara hears one of the lords bickering, saying, this is the outcome the Fifth Lord do not desire. Our oath is certain with only one exception. All Lord must agree, and thank God there is one of us who think differently than I. Speak up, Lord Oliveira. The alternative proposed must be agreed upon unanimously. Slowly opening his eyes, avoiding all gazes, Mikhail states, thank you. What I speak with will be my final proposal. I will substitute my life for his. As Andrea completely taken back as Oliveira continues, Lord Hart will be free to continue his duties while providing constant updates of his location to trusted S-rank Kimio of his choosing. Providing the same reassurance given to Aldrich, saying the chi we all felt fights on our behalf. Lord Hart must remain free. His impact will win us this war. If he fails to do this or break any stipulation as a member of the first table, I will go to execution on his behalf. As he finishes his proposal, closing with this, only the blood of one is shed, and our main enemy continues to receive our full attention, all in favor, as episode 128 comes to an end. Now, with the end of the episode, there are a ton of things I want to talk about. The first is the end of Lathe. As Lathe hair and looks are based off of me, I would like to say thank you to Brent first and foremost for being inspired by my live reaction content. Lathe did not end pleading for his life, but making sure Shay lost the battle of philosophy, saying that they are the same except he does not hide behind a facade, informing him that he has killed civilians as Shay only shows concern with taking the Elder's Mountain and not the death that he has caused by his actions. We're taking a look at episode 120. We see Lathe barely able to absorb a single PATMOS, although showing earlier in the same fight that he was able to douse Ilios' flame, so him being finished with one was the perfect callback to that moment. We do know Shay is able to coat items in chi to make them more durable, so he took the Elder's Mantle first. He has the ability to destroy it and coat it in his chi to make sure it was not damaged by his explosion. Shay, although still the Rider Man, understands the weight of the declaration had on everyone. When all of the Kimio felt his chi around the planet, Drea states that it felt like an old enemy who she feels she should know, going to show that even higher tier Kimio was affected all at the same time. One could assume to be on the spiritual level. Being consumed with such a threat is understandable that all the God tier appeared at once, especially since Shay chi pattern that they were so accustomed to would have abruptly disappeared, only to be replaced with such Bao chi, one is soothing such darkness and negative emotions. Now let's begin with the political situation in the world of Ordeal, as KODE base is stationed in Southeast Asia, and given the map on Titan activity in season 2 before the revival of Thanatos, Southeast Asia had one of the lowest Titan activity. KODE and the Ross family does lord over all Kimios, but their abilities cannot affect national matters openly and end up the end all be all for all Kimios. Now the Titans activity has increased somewhat in Southeast Asia to the point where presumed Gaki and Titan General can infiltrate Japan that not only holds the KODE headquarters but also the God tier Haven. The plan was to stop the nuclear items from being delivered to Thanatos once the Kimio Jose disregard his mission and plans on making Shinjuku a wasteland due to his exploding stars, which would mean the Valves would have been destroyed regardless. However, since Shay left no survivors, there was no one to take the blame besides him. Surrounded by innumerable death and destruction, with Andrea saying it affected surrounding areas as well in regards to nuclear waste, we see how large the crater Shay is standing in. So given that map on 117, if it's the surrounding areas, that will mean from about Meijiro to Harajuku should be included in the wasteland. The death would make it a national event in which KODE would not be able to be the end all be all for that decision. However, being a part of the Heart Clan, Shay could have diplomatic immunity in most countries, but not in Japan, since that's where the Heart Clan was stationed before they was annihilated. Diplomatic immunity prevents foreign governments from prosecuting you. We then discover that the first table, or 5 pillars, whichever you prefer, also has diplomatic immunity to an even higher degree. Since they are KODE espionage group, in order to protect both human and Kimios alike, they would need to perform duties with limited restriction. This could be the reason why Shay is not put into PATMOS, as long as the table deems he works for the greater good. This could make Japan force KODE to develop technology to restrict Kimio's abilities to prevent this atrocity from happening again. We do know the Kimio ban turned into martial law in the future, so beginning to restrict their use of their talent is the beginning of that. Similar to how we see PATMOS don metal vests to restrict their abilities, but in the future it is as simple as a collar. Shay hates to find Thanatos will inevitably cause the death of other pillars. Although they are a threat to the God tier, they are only food for Thanatos and his army. 3 pillars may be sacrificed in order to reveal Thanatos' location, and through all their sacrifices, Shay will not bat an eye at their death, which could lead them to realize the monster they have given leeway to. But we can save that for a later time. I love the dynamic between Anton and Zuri, where Zuri would do anything to protect her people and is only working for KODE with that being in mind, while Anton, he refuses to allow his families to get shafted while being reduced to a tool. He does not mind as long as he has the decision over all matters concerning his family, essentially making him the Wolf Cub's guardian angel, which is why it's silent Zuri, because although she does not agree with Shay or Anton in this moment, she does move with a similar ideal. Now with granting Tobias or Benefish, she was the former 7th Lord after Lord Yorn died and temporarily took her spot. This could lead me to think that she gave up her position. She is already old and was a hand to Yorn. Once Kevin left, Tao will be put into the God tier since he is ranked 11, but Tobias should have moved up, which could lead me to assume that she has resigned from her position. This could have happened right before they arrived, since I do see her not wanting to be in conflict with Shay, since she views him in the same light as Yorn. Then we have the most likely answer, which is she resigned due to being part of the older generation and leaving it to the new one. together, which is one of the things that Ross expressed in episode 127. Now, we do see Shay react to the God tier with Ilia's blue flame, so I do want to talk about that moment a little bit. Shay is exhausted, granted he did just activate his dormant chi. The anointed state is not completed, so in order to fight more efficiently, he opted into the blue flames. This will result in a higher degree of nuclear fission, causing the increase of heat of Toma due to the amount of fuel being burned. Next he will be able to protect the ally around him even if he's busy. I don't believe that the eye time is there just yet. This is due to us not having information on the Heart Clan. Brent seems to want to have a couple episodes dedicated to them. I say this due to his writing style. When seeing Sabito, we got a glimpse into the character with a brief description, and then later a few episodes depicting the overall events of his life. Since Brent showed the Eye of Time in season 1, then identified it in season 3, and the fact that we get the Heart Clan battling Thanatos throughout history, it would lead me to believe that Shay will visit his clan at some point and take on the burden of ending Thanatos so they can be free and not forcing the burden on Yukiko, who he cherishes more than anyone. Taking on this responsibility and having the power to manipulate time to a degree will also be reflective of the themes presented by Terrence when he said he doesn't know how to take his time. Now, I do want to talk about the art this episode as we do with each review. My favorite piece of art this episode is the look of regret on Jen Grimbore's face when he apologized to Shay. It takes a big person to apologize when they are in the wrong, so to see the regret in his eyes when he was asked was phenomenal. This was a dialogue heavy episode, so I didn't pay too much attention to the art. I do apologize, but in regards to the cameo of the week, it's going to be none other than Anton King. When choosing the safety of the world or the safety of his pack, he chose going to show even if he has to be a pawn, he refused to let his family be one. This episode is a 7 out of 10 episode. We all enjoy the action-based episode, but Brent Penn truly is at work in sections like these. Anyway, this is all I got for the review for episode 128. If you enjoyed the review, consider liking, commenting, and subscribing with the bell enabled to make sure you don't miss any of my future reviews. But anyway, it's been your boy Wolf Nara, and I'm out.